Hi, I'm Jim Gaffigan, and I'm going undercover on the internet. Can you believe it? Don't tell anyone, but it's actually me. Ow! Quora. You know what's so great about Quora? It's like, we should have a quorum about this. How does Jim Gaffigan treat his fans? Well, there's three. And so those three fans, they'll get flowers on their birthday. I'll send them notes like, hey, just checking in, I'll send them stationery. Jim Gaffigan fan club. Is fan a thing? Is it a fan? I think people are fans of like Beyonce or R. Kelly. Send. Should I take my 9-year-old child to see comedian Jim Gaffigan perform? Yeah, I would say that at my shows, it is new material. So, like, if your 9-year-old only wants to hear old material, they might be disappointed. But there's plenty of kids that are very kind of sophisticated with their humor taste. How did David Letterman help Jim Gaffigan's career? Look, he's my dad, so that's probably some of it. But, he definitely did help me and his executive producer, Rob Burnett, because they kind of gave me a certain seal of approval in that if Letterman thinks somebody's funny, then maybe they're funny. Because the entertainment industry is filled with cowards that don't have opinions. How does Jim Gaffigan produce so much content? Magic. It's very selfish motivation. Coming up with a new joke is really rewarding. And also, I try and produce so much content because I'm trying to get my dad to like me. What was Jim Gaffigan like in high school? I went to a very small high school. It was 120 students. There weren't the traditional roles in my high school, like a John Hughes film, of like the jock and the pothead and the bully and all that. So because it was such a small school, everyone did everything. So I was an athlete. I tried really hard, studied hard, and then only got like B pluses. I was voted funniest. I was also voted best male body. I mean, I didn't look like this, but I was in pretty good shape back then. I mean, this is like the 1800s, so. Twitter. Seriously, it's actually me. I wonder if Jim Gaffigan gets along with raunchy comedians. I mean, how does one trade hooker stories for pizza stories? I do have many friends that are filthy or irreverent. If someone has a raunchy story, it's not like they only do raunchy things. Like, they still have to go to the store. They're craftspeople working on their art, which is stand-up, and sometimes that involves a hooker, I guess. Send. Wikipedia. What about this? It's actually me. Gaffigan's style is largely observational, and his principal topics relate to laziness, eating, and parenthood. Yeah, it's not like I only think of jokes about laziness or parenthood. Why do you need to put me in a box? You know what I mean? Just because I'm good looking doesn't mean I can't act. Sometimes in interviews they'll be like, all your stand-up is all about your kids, and I'm like, it's not really. It's hard to be me. I can't believe I even have a Wikipedia page. You know what I mean? Also, during his routines, he will sometimes perform soliloquies, because I'm like Shakespeare, by using a high-pitched voice in the third person, deliver negative feedback on his own performance, such as after making a diarrhea joke in his 2012 special, Mr. Universe, using the voice, this is literally what's written. Please, if you know how to read or write, can you update my Wikipedia page? Still in the same sentence. Using his voice and saying, really? He's using diarrhea jokes? He calls that voice his connection with the audience. First of all, I don't call it my connection with the audience, but that's right. I call it my inside voice. I am trying to vocalize what I believe an audience member might be thinking at the time. So if I'm talking about horses and I've done 6 minutes on that, I could speak for the audience and go like, that's got to be the end of the horse jokes. I never even wanted to hear 2 minutes of horse jokes. So it makes them a participant in it. Submit. He is also regarded as a clean comic, using little profanity in his routines. I mean, that's just No comedian wants any other adjective except for funny. Clean comedian? Yeah. Am I clean compared to some of my friends? Yes. Am I good looking? Yes. And by the way, I would also say it's about authenticity. So we all have that friend that curses ridiculously unnecessary amounts, but it's authentic to them, where it's not authentic to me because Jesus told me not to. Next, as of June 2016, Gaffigan was the most popular comic on all of Pandora.com with over 647 million spins. 647 million? I don't even know if that's true. I mean, hopefully that's true. That's amazing. But like with streaming audio services, stand-up has changed so dramatically from when, I started. And, I know that, I have a special on Amazon and I have some specials on Netflix, but the streaming service, the audio streaming services are amazing at getting people exposed to your stand-up. Reddit. It's actually me. Like anyone's dying, like, is it him? No heckling. Jim Gaffigan and Louis C.K., two great shows, both on top of their game. I was surprised, however, at all the under no circumstances, no heckling at any time, else we'll eject you from the venue. Is this the new thing or just a local Midwestern thing? First of all, is that why you're going to a show? You're like, oh, I went to this stand-up show and I wanted to ruin the show by heckling. And then they have these rules. I don't make any announcement on that. That might have been the venue. And I performed in Omaha many times and it's a perfectly fine audience. So I don't know why that would come up. And like, things were draped over rows and rows of chairs. Like they have a rain delay in baseball and they put like a tarp out. What if when the audience came in, there was a tarp that said no heckling? Is that what you encountered? Next. What are your thoughts on the dad bod craze? Is it true? I don't think it's true. Like, I feel like we try and make things good that aren't good. They're like, dad bods, yeah. When everyone's like, no one wants dad bods. IMDb. You may not believe it or not care, but it's actually me. Has said that he dislikes being labeled as a family-friendly comedian. Here's what I dislike about the term family-friendly. It usually means bad. Family-friendly restaurants, family-friendly hotels, brutal. So, I don't want to be lumped in with the water parks. Because, by the way, I have kids, and I have to go to water parks, and they're brutal. His comedy career began after a friend bet him to do stand-up comedy. Well, it was a dare, but yes, that is true. Because I was somebody who was a coward. I wanted to do it, but I was like, I grew up in a small town in Indiana, and I didn't think that it was something that I could do. I thought it was just fancy people on the East Coast or the West Coast that did it. Boom! Instagram. Thinking of baby number 6. No. I have 5 kids. I love most of them. No, I love them all. If my wife got pregnant, I wouldn't be like, I'm out of here. I would obviously open my exhausted fat arms to any gift that was given to us because I would hate to be too negative and then we do have a 6th kid and then the kid looks and sees this and they're like, what is it? And then they have to show their therapist, which probably at that time will be a robot. What if in the future you had this robot that went around your apartment and you're like, all right, switch into therapist mode. And then you're like, all right, switch into sex robot mode. I'm not saying I would do this. I'm saying you would, not me. Clean my apartment, stuff like that. I'm just saying, I don't know if I need any more kids. Posted. That's it. I'm signing off the internet. Forever. Until later on. Wouldn't it be great if I just threw up right now? Ugh.